thing about Sanchin is it's so easy to do it ineffectively. It's so easy to do Sanchin incorrectly, either because of not focusing when you're doing it, or on the other hand, just putting too much tension into it. Usually what happens is we get a bit complacent, I think, probably is the right word, especially if we're practicing on our own. And what I mean by complacent is, because all I have to remember is these little steps and just straightforward punches and things, I can get through the whole kata, I can get through the sequence of the kata really easily. I mean, if someone doesn't know Sanchin kata, they've never done martial arts before, you can teach them the sequence in an hour and then they'll have it. But they won't have Sanchin kata, they'll just have the outward movements. So this part is like locked in here. Inhale, keep that elbow down. Pushing, keeping the elbow going towards the floor. Pull, feet get heavier when you pull the elbows down and back. All the different positions, the inside, the outside, the hooking. Sanchin is difficult because there's so little variety to it. So there's a lot you have to visualize. For example, when I'm pushing my hand out this way, when I just push in the air, I don't have to adjust my feet. But when I actually have resistance, what's going to happen is I push, I'm going to fall backwards. And so when I do the kata, I feel that, I literally imagine that I'm pushing and the oppositional force is trying to make me fall over backwards. So that's part of my visualization. And then when I pull, it's going to be the opposite. It's as if I pull and I'm going to pull myself that way. So now I have to shift the visualization and therefore the concentration in my feet, in my legs. Watch what happens if I try and push with my hand. When I try to push my hand, I don't move. Because what's happening is I'm pushing myself up and off balance. So when I do that, I don't want to push with my hand. As I do it, my elbow drops and I push forward. My elbow drops, and when I drop my elbow, it roots me to the ground. That's one of the biggest things I see people don't understand. Is they're trying to push from this point here, and their shoulder comes up, and the elbow is up, so I cannot root myself to the floor. It's like someone lifting you up and you're trying to push, so you don't have any purchase on the ground. Drop the elbow. I'm not even thinking about moving my hand. I'm just pushing my elbow forward. I'm pushing from here, so everything's down. It will change your Sanchin completely if you think about that. Because we always talk about when we've got the hands up and my partner pulls the hand back, and if I push all my weight here, they won't be able to move. But as soon as I hook here, now they can connect the feet and everything, and then they're also dropping their elbow, so now they can use both sides of the body. But before you use both sides of the body, you also want to think about just using that one. You ever see that? My elbow moves that way, not that way. We really have to think about every time. Maybe just focus on one thing at a time before you try and focus on too many things. But maybe it's just keeping the elbow down whenever I move. You know, whether it's the punch, whether it's coming back, whether it's here, whether it's there, whether it's here. And so think about the elbow, whether it's here. Think about what the elbow is doing and making that connection to the body. It's better to do the kata once with really focusing than do it 10 or 15 times being complacent, because if you do that, you're ingraining the opposite of what we're trying to do. I don't know how many of you are on martial arts forums, but you hear all kinds of things on martial arts forums, which are kind of funny. But one of the things you'll read a lot is people say, do Sanchin for 3 years. And most people, when they hear that, they think, oh, I'm supposed to do Sanchin for 3 years and I'm not allowed to do anything else for 3 years. I just do Sanchin. In my opinion, that isn't what this means at all. What it means is that if you, without being complacent, work on Sanchin seriously over a 3-year period, I mean, it doesn't have to be 3 years exactly, but that's quite obviously a long time. If you work on anything seriously over a 3-year period, in conjunction with everything else you're doing, then your view and understanding of Sanchin kata will change. I don't mean in an intellectual way. It's just that if you practice it consistently, it doesn't even have to be every day, but if you do it consistently 3 days a week over a long period of time, we'll say 3 years, but it just has to be a long period of time, then you'll start to understand the kata better. And what usually happens is people often they'll work at something really seriously for a few weeks or a few months, and then they'll start focusing on something else, which is fine. But the 3-year Sanchin phrase is that, yes, focus on something else, but while you're doing that, keep working on Sanchin without being complacent. Paul Sensei, because when you work on the iron palm protocol, you're doing everything else. But if you stop, even for just a little bit, you've set yourself back. And consistency is the most important thing, not intensity in one practice. Does that make sense to everyone?